Hey guys, this is Cookie, and yeah, this is my Geargia Machina deck. So to start off, this is more of a fun-based deck, so don't go into a tournament thinking that it will kick ass, because yes, it will beat quite a few other decks, but you will also lose quite often. Now for the Machinas, I find 2 and 2, 2 Fortress and 2 Gearframe were the best ratio. If I ran 3 Gearframe, I'll draw into Gearframe too often after I've already made my Machina plays. If I drew into Fortress, I could still use it. I attempted to use 3 Fortress and 3 Gearframe, that didn't work. I tried 3 Gearframe, 2 Fortress. I've even tried splashing in a Cannon instead of one of the Gearframes. Cannon was the worst option because, yes, you could summon them any time essentially, but it just wound up with dead hands. Now for the Geargias, I have 1 Arsenal. A lot of people think this is the best card out, but I find it ends your turn. You summon him and then you just tribute him to bring out something. Yes, you can tribute him for armor, but I just found it was quite dead. Yes, he also gets the attack boost, but I preferred going armor or auger. Hence why I only won. It's still a good card, but not enough that I should take something out for it. I run triple Accelerator, self-explanatory, special summon all, get out X's. Triple armor. Armor's good for any searches essentially. I usually go armor into Accelerator, then XE for a X. But yeah, a lot of people constantly use armor. I find that the moment you flip it up once, your opponent has a general idea what you're doing and will play around it. I run triple auger, again, same play. Auger into Accelerator into X, X to search out Gearframe to get out my Fortress next turn. For the Geargianos, this is something that there's been so much chaos running in my head about, but I found this is the best ratios. 2 3s, 3 2s, and 2 1s. I've tried with 2 of each, I've tried 1, 2, 1, I've tried all that, but I found this was the best, because late game, if you don't win early on, this was one of the better plays. You'd have everything in the graveyard and you just normal summon that, spawn the field, get out your XG, and attack safely and just constantly hit for points. Now for spells and traps, I have 1 Raigeki. Yeah, it works. It's mainly there for field control. You remove your opponent's side of the field and you dump your monsters on the field because it's such a swarmy deck. I did try running a Torrential instead, but I just found that a bit, well, it was always MST'd, or when they did summon, I already had a monster on the field that I wanted to keep, so I found Raigeki being a better card was a better option. Also, it's a quicker card. You can just activate it straight away, you don't need to wait for them to do something. 1 Soul Shard, mainly for getting out the Xyz, so usually if I Soul Shard, I'll do Soul Charge, depending on what's in the graveyard, I'll try to make either XG or X, occasionally Big Eye, but yeah, usually it's for XG or X. Triple Duality, this is more for the speed of the deck, helps me build my hand how I want it. So Duality, if I get given an option, I'll usually add Gearframe or Fortress, or a Searcher to get out the Gearframe. It's usually those plays that I aim for. Triple MST, self-explanatory, staple, all that. 1 Bottomless, just because banishing still has a major effect on the game. There are decks now that can get around it and aren't as affected. But yeah, I just find it incredibly helpful in tough situations. I run double Force, Mirror Force. It's just, well, in the tournaments I go into, it's usually not overly competitive. It's usually there mainly for fun. So Mirror Force is a good way to get around, well, the numerous Blue Ice decks that are down there. Triple Wing Blast. This is mainly to reset your opponent. Your opponent makes a big Xy push or Synchro push or something like that, you can reset them back to square one, or even if I have it first turn and I'm going first, occasionally I'll just do it on their normal summon, make it so then they have no actual monster on the field, depending on what it is. And Triple Dimensional Prism, again, protects my monsters. In tournaments I go, there's not overly competitive. The Dimensional Prism is actually really helpful because a lot of decks, again, struggle with banishing. And for the counter traps, double Wiretap. I was considering running Solemn Warning instead of one of the Wiretaps, but I found that the 2,000 cost, along with the generally 3,000, 4,000 payment of life points for Soul Charge, was a bit too much. It was too heavy on heavier than the cost. So I thought Wiretap and having Bottomless would probably be the better combo. I was also considering Black Horn of Heaven instead of a, well in this one a Prison, but Black Horn of Heaven, it is very conditional. It needs to be inherent summon, so it kind of sucks. It's really mainly used for when your opponent makes an XE, Synchro, or Fusion. Now, oh not Fusion, sorry, depending on the Fusion. For the extra deck, number 11 Big Eye, self-explanatory, steal your monsters, boss monster, overpowered, and yeah, you have 2 level 7s that are easily brought out. So yeah, instant number 11, get around to big stuff. Again for big stuff, XYZ Dragon, half your opponent's monster's attack, gain that monster's attack, you can attack over anything, deal 2,500 damage. Triple X, search out anything, 1 Black Horn. In the tournaments I go to again, they're not competitive, so there's a lot of burn decks. Helps me get over Marshmallow and stuff like that. Just remove it from the field, and yeah, take 1,000. Heartland Draco, just to finish off the games quicker. Good rank 4 generic. Diamond Direwolf, pop anything, so the occasional Vanity Sentinelist that comes out, this deck really struggles with. So yeah, that's where the Phoenix Wing Blast is, but if I have Direwolf on board, I can just take that out. Gagaga Cowboy, mainly for the burn, but occasionally to get over boss monsters. Rhapsody in Berserk, destroy your opponent's setup graveyard essentially. You get to banish 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard in 1 turn. What's not to like about that? Not only that, but after you do that, you can equip it to any of your extra deck monsters, and they gain 1200 attacks. I love running that. It's always fun to soul charge into 4 level 4 monsters, overlay for, I don't know, X and Rhapsody, and then use Rhapsody's effect twice, banish, equip, done, and then you can still get the search of the X. For the rank 3s I have triple XG, really good, makes attack safe, because the tournaments again aren't very competitive, there's a lot of mirror falls, helps me get around that, they can't physically activate stuff. And Nightmare Shark, again, same as Heartland Draco, push for gain when they're on the final leg of 2000, but even occasionally I'll pull it out at the start of the game if I can't make any plays, and just get that first blood. And last but not least, Alucard. Alucard I find is a very good way to safely remove the back row. If I can only get 2 level 3 Geargianos out, I'll go Alucard, pop back row, or pop set monster. Again, also good for burn decks if I know I'm versing. Gets me out of that 1000 burn of Marshmallow. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. This is not a competitive deck, and if you don't own, before I finish, any Wing Blasts or anything like that, the next best card, which I was highly considering putting in, would be Raigeki Break. The only reason why it's on here is it would mean I'd have to discard so much with Phoenix Wing Blast and Raigeki Break. I just find Phoenix being better. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Have a nice day.